Something just clicked. I was like, I gotta get out of this truck. And I got out. But when I got out, I was on fire from head to toe. Face, 2 fingers.
A San Antonio airman severely burned in Afghanistan not only beat the odds and lived, but has become a world-class athlete. Technical Sergeant Israel del Toro is competing in the Southwest Valor Games this week and just competed at the Invictus Games in London.
And our Delaine Mathieu sat down with this courageous man to talk about his life and just the amazing way he has chosen to live it.
Your stories move, inspire, and humble us. You prove that anything is possible if you have the will.
Prince Harry's inaugural Invictus Games last month in London.
Welcome to the Games. Welcome to Invictus.
A world-class competition for the world's most athletic wounded warriors. Only 100 were chosen to represent Team USA. 39-year-old Tech Sergeant Israel del Toro of San Antonio, or DT, was one of them.
I got emails like, hey, DT, we're selecting to represent Team USA at the Invictus Games. And I'm like, no way.
He competed in cycling, track and field, and powerlifting, and did very, very well, and made quite an impression with the Prince of Wales.
And it's like, is that the hat? It's like, yeah, this is the hat. We're talking, BSing.
Prince Harry knew all about DT and the meaning of that hat.
The only thing that it got was this little singe right there. That's it, this little thing.
It was in his left pocket the day his life changed forever. In 2005, DT was a TAC-P in the Air Force, a special operator whose primary job is to call in airstrikes in enemy territory. That December, he set out with a scout team in Afghanistan.
There was a high-value target, and there's a supply route that Taliban was using.
It was December 5th, his wife's birthday. The team decided to split up. They were heading back into town when they hit an IED.
I'm sitting in the truck, and everything just slows down.
In those moments, he thought about his 2-year-old son, his wife, and the promise he made to them that he'd come home.
Something just clicked. I was like, I gotta get out of this truck, and I got out. But when I got out, I was on fire from head to toe. I must have yelled, I'm gonna die out here, and that's when the LT says, you're not gonna die out here, DT, and helps me up, and we both jumped into the creek. And I don't know if I was trying to calm the situation down or being funny, but I look at him, you know, and I was like, LT is like, yeah, that sucked. And he's like, what do you mean that sucks? Like, sir, I just got blown up, I was on fire, and I jumped in a freezing cold creek in Afghanistan.
The moment didn't last long. The rest of the team was taking heavy fire, and DT had a job to do.
And I pretty much told him, get on this frequency, you know, repeat everything I tell you, so we can get some air in here.
By the time he gave his last command, he could barely breathe. The next thing he remembered was waking up at BAMC.
I was like, what day is it? And they're like, it's March of 2006.
He had been in a coma for 3 months with burns to 80% of his body.
That's when they start telling me everything that's happened, you know, that I almost died 3 times. You know, they gave me a 15% chance to live.
He had no idea President Bush had come to see him and spent 20 minutes by his side. And he had no idea the number of agonizing hours his wife never left his side.
I spent all day there. Like 8 hours a day or more.
DT was told he may never walk again. He'd be on a respirator for the rest of his life, and his military career was over.
And so I pretty much told them, you know, they can kiss my
He worked hard. He fought through the pain and got better by the day.
Never throughout my recovery did I ever wish that I had died. Never. Until I did see my face for the first time.
DT says most of the mirrors inside the burn unit at BAMC are covered up, allowing patients to gradually see their injuries. But the day he saw his face was an accident.
I like slipped, and they must have grabbed the towel that was covering the mirror, and I saw myself, and I broke down.
He says his first thought and his biggest fear that his son would be afraid of him.
Because for almost a half hour, I was inconsolable. I didn't care. I was like, you should have let me die. You should have let me die.
Weeks later, he faced his fear and looked at his son right in the eye.
He says, "Papi," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he just runs up, gives me a hug, and holds me. Best hug ever.
Oh.
They've been inseparable ever since.
My dad has always been an inspiration to me, a hero.
Oh, what's your favorite event?
Javelin.
The javelin.
Yeah, I actually hold 2 world records right now for shot put and javelin for my class.
Boom! Nearly 10 years and more than 130 surgeries later, DT has come a very long way. He's invited to events around the country and meets all kinds of celebrities. He has medals from competitions scattered all over his office, including one from the Invictus Games. But one very special medal is tucked away, his Purple Heart.
That medal represents the old DT, before the injury, and now the new one.
The inspirational DT, the one who represents and encompasses the true meaning of the words heart, courage, love, and honor.
But yeah, I might have gotten a bad break, but I still got a lot to live for.
What an incredible
Wow.
story.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
Wow. That's a hero.
Yes, that is.
We tend to throw the term around too much.
Hey, we do. And the Southwest Valor Games, by the way, they continue tomorrow at Mission Concepcion Sports Park and Wednesday at SeaWorld.